Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel Review Anything and Everything. And today I'm actually about to unbox and review something that I actually wanted for a little while. I'm just waiting to be able to buy it for a decent price. And recently it was Prime Day. I was able to get it for what I felt was a pretty decent price. I'm gonna have the link in the description down below for this on Amazon. This is within the collecting space of Legos. This is strictly bricks. Now, I had mentioned this before when I built the Tudor corner, my first modular set. And when I did, I mentioned about how these things, if a person didn't want to do the whole or wasn't familiar with the whole, what do you call that again? They build up these bases, they call them Mills plates, where it's like you kind of set up this thing where you take like a flat regular Lego base plate, which is thinner than a regular plate. Like you see here, there's a regular Lego plate. It's thinner than that. And then you put like a couple of regular 1 brick height of bricks on it. Then you layer it with like one big plate or a couple of plates to make it, because you don't have like one big plate like this normally in Lego, and you would layer it down and that would be it. Now people who are not familiar with that space or kind of new to things or don't want to get started on that, they don't want to build a whole system of these Mills plates. You can YouTube that and see what that's all about. But I think a lot of people would not really necessarily be interested in that if you're not one of those over the top hardcore Lego collector. Now, I don't want to even say collectors, because collectors won't necessarily do that either, but you're not big into building your own city and you're trying to do all that. This is a way to get around it, because a lot of the regular base plates are thinner than a regular plate. And the problem with that is that not everything always aligns, because when you build like a modular set on top of that, they're now the height of, because the modular set will often build the street with tiles that are a plate high. On top of that base plate that is thinner than a regular plate. So now you're, and I think a base plate is maybe half the height of a regular plate, maybe, if that, I'm not sure. So now you're off by half of a plate for anything that you would stack. So we're gonna get into this to see if these, what the height is of them, and just kind of show them. I'm not going to be able to build anything with them now, but what my intention is for this was to transfer my Tudor corner modular set onto one of these. And that's going to be a bit of a hassle, because at least you have the floors. You could take the top floor off and the middle floor off, but the rest of it, I'm not going to probably be able to pull off in just one leap. And then, so that's going to probably almost get crumbled, me trying to do that. And then I'm going to have to go back to the instructions and build one by one, at least the bottom layer or street layer of that set, which is going to be tedious because it takes a lot of time when it comes to building those things. But I also recently, around the same time I purchased this, I also got on Prime Day sale, which I will later on do a review on when I get to the chance to, but it'll be a while. And that is, I had purchased another modular set, the Lego Boutique Hotel. So because it was on sale for a really good price. I missed it last year. I didn't miss it. I put it in the cart. I changed my mind last minute. And then later on, I regretted it. And now I wanted to get it. And I did. And I got it for the same price as I originally got it for last year before I canceled my order. So now I don't feel like I missed out. But with that being said, I want to put that onto one of these. So I will start that build on one of these. I hope it doesn't go bad in terms of, when you lay that much on these bricks, are they going to warp and bend the plate? Being that this plate is thicker than, something thin. So here you can see they put that on there, which is interesting. Little Lego piece to put on there. That's interesting. So the main thing that I want to see is this the same height as a regular brick and a plate, and it is. And that's actually great in that regards. Now, you can put plates underneath this, but but they don't stick as well, my understanding, as, you know, a regular plate that has all these holes, but they will stick. It's not going to be as good. Let me put it away from the sides, because the sides you see have more holes. Putting it in more of the middle, it doesn't stick well. There's a level of resistance that, you know, it won't slide. It's not going to slide back and forth. But as far as holding, there's not a lot of tension. So I wouldn't use this to necessarily put on top of other things necessarily. But if this is your lowest base layer, it's fine for the purpose of, you know, using this as the basis of your city in terms of your modulars, in terms of maybe putting other sets on top of this. Like maybe you want to have like, for example, you might have like a little coffee shop or something like that, and you want to build a street around it. You could now use a couple of plates, smooth plates, and then put them around here to form a sidewalk maybe. And then you put that on there. But another thing I wanted to bring into play also, and this is another reason why I really wanted this, and to put the modular sets on it, and that is I'm going to bring out my street set, which I'm going to put the link of that one of these inside put the link for the street set in the video as well, because obviously when Lego went over to these, and I didn't start collecting in modern day Lego until they already went over to this system, and they've been using it now for a pretty good amount of time now, I think over 5 years. This becomes the standard for you building your streets and the basis of your city. And so with that being said, let me see here. I have a good piece. Here we go. With that being said, one of the main things I think is the fact of saying, will it line up? Now, these things are 2 plates high because they have the smooth plating on top, and then the connecting pieces are one plate lower in height. And already I can see that it connects. So I'm going to take this little piece here as just to demonstrate the connectivity of it. And they do line up and they work. So this does exactly what I wanted it to do. And that's a big deal. So let me further explain. If you have this as your base for your modular set, and then the modular set will often say, if the house is here, along here would be the streetway. And if it's a corner set like my Tudor corner, then you'll have more sidewalk go down that way. So the sidewalk goes like this and then goes like that. Because you'll have this, and then in the instructions, you're going to put tiles along the top. That will bring the height of this to the exact same height as the street. So that will be nice, because if this is the sidewalk and this is the street, you're going to seamlessly be able to see that the sidewalk and the street are the same height. And now you can connect with all your street sets and all your other sets that are a plate high, or a little bigger than a plate high. Because, for example, I have the, what is that called again? The modern house for the city set. I have 2 of them. I have like an older version one and the newer version one. I believe that it was 2019 and 2020. No, I think it's 2021 and 2023, but I'm not sure. I did reviews on both of those. But so those utilize the street plate built into them, where they have the driveway part. And so even if the rest of the house is on a regular plate, and then you have the driveway part is a little taller. The point is that it then goes seamlessly into the street part. And then if you were to have a modular next to that house, it's not going to fit correctly in terms of connecting them. But now that you have a plate that is compatible with the heights of Legos, with other Legos like the plates, it works. So even if you had a regular plate, they could connect with them. If it's the street, you can connect like it is here. So it just gives you that. So that's why I really want to do this. Now this right here is a 8-pack. I forget the price that I paid, but at the same time, like I mentioned before, the link's going to be in the description down below. It gives you 2 gray ones, 2 blue ones, 2 green ones, and 2 sand ones. Now, The reason why I think this one's pretty good, because being that you get more of a variation, the value of it seems to be cheaper or better than if you got 4 gray plates. The gray plate's a little more expensive, obviously, rightfully so, because people are going to want them more. Not rightfully so, but obviously so, because people are going to want them more for the city set. But what's nice is that the Tudor corner, my first modular set, actually used a green base plate. You can do a gray one and it'll still look really good. It probably will almost look better because some of the tiles are the graded or like vented type of tiles that the little 1x2 tiles that if you had gray underneath it, it will look more like it's like like a grading over a sewer or something like that. On the green, you see the green underneath it and it doesn't look as good. But the reason why that set has the green is because on the back of the house in this corner here is just behind the building a little bit of grass. And so even though I could change it, I will keep the green, use the green tile plate here for that, simply because one, it saves on the gray tiles for the sets that I will use that need gray. And two, it works with green as the natural or original color that it used anyway. So it's not like I'm changing it. So that works. So yes, and that'll allow me to have 2 gray ones, which one of them will be used for the boutique hotel when I get a chance to building that. But I really wanted to kind of just show this. I'm sorry if this video got long, but I think it was just very important for people to know that while this company makes this and while this is still a product that exists, because I haven't seen too many companies that make this, it's really good to jump on. It's a really good idea to jump on it because it saves you from those people who do the whole mills plating because they're like, I want to build my city. So they do mills. And I think part of the main reason why, like I said, I told you how the design is on the mills plates, but I think the main reason why they do that is so everything is leveled and you can break things in sections and parts. Well, this gives you everything leveled. Granted, it's not as tall as the way people do mills plates, but I don't think you lose anything from it not being as tall. You do gain the easiness of just buying these and then using them for your thing. And in between that, you get the road plates, where before you would have, when people do mills plates, so they would have a plate on the bottom of this, like I said, but it would be the plate that's, let me see if I can get this out of here. It's upside down, so it's sticking in a funny way. You would have the regular lower, the normal Lego plates was lower than this. So keep that in mind. You would have 1 brick high in between, and then this would be on top of it. So your mills plates will look something like that. And when you did that for a street, you would have to then get a couple of plates like this, or, a little bit bigger, something that's as wide as this, but do the same thing. You'd have to put the little squares on it, and then you'd have to put this on top of it. So now everything is leveled off. You'd have to get like a regular tiny, like slimmer plate, one of the Lego regular plates, and then you'd have to put these street stuff on top of it. And it's so tedious. With this now, you just throw this on. You don't need extra plates to put the road on top of, because now the road is the height of these, and it just works so much better. Lego really should make these themselves and stop making the plates that they make. But those plates are cheaper, but the problem with them is that they are too thin for anything else to build on. And it used to work when they used to have the road plates that were also equally as thin, but they don't do them anymore. They replaced them with these. And so for that reason, the regular base plates needs to be replaced with something like these. But in the meantime, since they haven't done that, you can buy these. As I said, links in the description down below. It's definitely a win. I recommend it if you're getting started in Lego, or even if you want to build a city. It's definitely recommended. If you already have a built city and you have mills plates and all this other stuff, I can't tell you to jump over to this, but what I will say is if you are willing to jump over to this, then all those other pieces that you use to build the mills plates can now just go into a bin that you'll use for other things, because that's a lot of wasted pieces, a lot of bricks wasted that goes in between them, a lot of large plates that are wasted that go on top. And the base plate, obviously, you probably wouldn't use anymore, but nonetheless, these aspects, or the things that go on top of the mills plate, are waste, and you could just buy these and build up your city like that. As always, you guys like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.